You've pushed yourself.
If you're never true to yourself, you're never going to know what you're capable of. You know what I mean? You need to have those failures to define yourself. Okay,
100%.
what am I good at? And a lot of it's all self-perspective. Like you gotta self-analyze yourself. What am I good at? What do I suck at? And that's why my company succeeds. Is I figure out what I suck at, and I will find somebody that is awesome at what I suck at, and that's who I bring on board.
Absolutely. It's we
Where
can't
you are weak, be stronger.
Absolutely, and you can't do everything on your own. You want to try and build everything on yourself, but you need to bring talent in to help you. It's the only way to scale. Plus, it gives them the opportunity to learn new skills and pushes their life to the trajectory they want. And you win, they win. That's why I know on your website, you talk about team building. I'm like, absolutely. You can't do it on your own. There's a lot of people that I want to thank over the years to be with.
Let me go kill that air compressor.
Oh, okay. Dude, I was wondering what the hell is going on right now. Is someone building a car or is someone with a machine gun?
It's I got a big old air compressor over there, and we got all the cars in the background.
Oh, no worries, man. I forgot what we were talking about, but I think a lot of us need to start to explore who we truly are. And I think this whole lockdown with the COVID, I think for a lot of people, it's obviously putting them into a fear place, but I think a lot of us are using it as a time to reflect on who we are and where we want to head in life and what do we want out of life. And I think it's a beautiful thing, as much as there's some things that are not really great about the whole situation. But at least we can try and look at seeing this, how can we make the planet better? How can I be better? What can I create for my future? And sometimes you need that push against the wall to make that happen,
But I've had so many great conversations with so many great friends since all this kicked off, and it's like you forget that you know so many awesome people and that are like just such great people. You know what I mean? I've had so many people reach out because like I've had a few issues posted on Facebook. I had so many amazing people, you included, reach out, and you have these great conversations with people you haven't talked to in a while, and it's like, hell yeah, I forgot why I was here. You know what I mean? Like, it just helps you reevaluate and reestablish.
That's so goddamn true. And I think we forget, we're so busy with our daily lives that we forget just how many incredible people we have around us. Right now there's so much bullshit that we don't know what's happening. Yes, there is a virus. There's so much untruth that's been spread that no one knows what is really going on. Where's it come from? What's happening? Is it 5G? Is it this, is that? And we're all just looking for clarity. We just want truth. And because of this, we're all, like you said, reaching out to each other, going, hey, man, we're here for you guys. We're here for each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing that hopefully, I'm hoping that people walk away when this is getting back to normal to a certain level.
And
it stays that way, And I think sometimes I don't know, it's kind of like we're in our own little bubble and we think it's all about us. But actually, every single one of us is going through the same bullshit. And also this, to some degree, the same good things, because it's not always about the bad stuff. But I think the fact that we're sharing that we're going through some hard times is showing that I'm not alone. I can do this. And like you said, people are supporting you. They're supporting each other by talking, having conversation to get that mind into, yes, this may not be great right now, but if I've got my head onto a future that looks better than this, it's going to happen. I mean, if people believe in the law of attraction, which I never heard of till 6 years before, that when you think of a human body, we're like an energy field, and like a battery, you got plus and minus, positive and negative, and you attract more positive if you're more positive, and if you're negative, you attract more of that. And that's how we operate in this basic form. And if we start to think more about, well, what if this will go right? What if I can see it go right instead of, well, shit, but what if it goes wrong all the time? Then guess what? Things do happen to come your way, which actually work. Because I used to be a head in the cloud, and but what if this goes wrong? I was always a fearful kid when I was growing up, always worried about things. Now I've had to reteach my mind to go, but what if it could go right instead? But we've been taught that miracles don't happen, or that it can't just fall out of a tree like money and things like that. But in the last, like, let's take for example now, obviously we travel out of suitcase, and we've been doing that for 6 years because we sold everything 6 years ago. And what we would do is stay with friends and family when we travel around the world who said, hey, we're going to support you on your journey. You can crash at our place. It's all cool. We really appreciate that. And then we started doing things like house sitting for people with animals. So we look after dogs in exchange to stay rent-free in someone's home. And we had a nice place we were staying at before the whole COVID-19 thing kicked off. And we had three more properties till June. And when this all happened, no one could travel. And we were like, at first, shit, what do we do? Because we don't really have anywhere realistically we can go to. Can't have any hotels because COVID shut hotels. My sister could do, worst case scenario, but we don't really want to. She's got a family and everything. There's not much room at the place. And then we just let go with the fear. We're just like, what do we want to happen? So Carmen was like, she's really good at this. She went, we want a roof over our head that's safe and secure. We want to be able to have food on the table and have Wi-Fi that's stable. And within 3 days, we get a phone call from friends we've known for 6 years who we stayed in their studio before in London and said, guys, you wouldn't happen to be in England right now because we're stuck in California and with the whole COVID, we're stuck here for a few months. We can't fly. And we were just like, how crazy is this? We just let go of that fear and we thought that's what we want instead. And trust me, I'm having to learn this all the time because sometimes I go back to the old way of thinking. And how insane was this? So they came along and said, this is what we have. So within 3 days of having to move from the old house, we got another place, which we're here today. And at the same time, we're thinking, gosh, what happens with client work? Because people may not want to do any work because the whole business thing stops. And as we leave this house that we're at, the guy's a very successful businessman who starts a running brand who says, I've seen your social media and I can see you've done well. Would you like to set up my entire brand for me? And we're like, that's insane. So we're massively grateful, but that's because we started to embrace more of what could go right despite the fear and the bullshit that's going on right now, and not consuming too much of it, knowing what's going on, going in and out of it and being aware so we're knowing what's happening. And because of that mindset, it's actually opened up more doors for us than in the past where we were always doom and gloom because we were brought up in narcissistic environments where you're a piece of shit, you're not going to succeed and this, that, and the other, and not feeling that we would actually succeed and anything could go right. And so we started doing that and going, God, it works. It really fucking works. And when we went back 6 years before we left, we still had that mindset. We weren't aware of it. So sometimes we would fall into a place of depression and anxiety about money and all this kind of stuff. But then your inner being almost kicks in and goes, but you want this. You want this better life. You want that. So fuck that shit, Just focus on the good stuff. And now I'm believing this stuff more. And I think a lot of us need to start to understand this now more than ever. Because sometimes the dream is so far out there that you think, there's no way we can do that. That's when you retract and go, well, look, I'm a piece of shit. I haven't got enough money. I haven't got this. And then you never fucking do it.
A lot of people that are afraid to make those sacrifices, because you brought it up, but you didn't mention, like, you were, giving up all the stuff that you had and the normalcy of it all. That is giving up so much, and so many people are so afraid of that. But it's so freeing when you do. When you get to that moment where you were at, like when you have that realization, and maybe a few years later, and you get that feeling of, oh my gosh, this could be reality. You know what I mean? And like this continues on, and it's those sacrifices you made in the beginning, that pay off later on. And people don't realize that, because I guarantee you guys are just like me. Don't watch much TV, basically it's head down from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed because it's all you got.
It is. You're absolutely right. And we also enjoy it so much that it doesn't become like work.
It's not work.
It's something we enjoy. And we thought if we can make a living from this at the same time, then we're winning. And then other people hopefully can see that and then they can do that on their side. And hopefully we inspire other people. And you've got one life in this time. And
but so many people will start. Like, imagine if you started and you stopped after a year or two, because I'm willing to bet you thought about it.
Oh yeah, of course we did. 100%. I mean, the first 6 months, and again, this is like how the path unfolds. We had 6 months worth of cash. I think it probably equal to like $10,000, and it was just enough to pay everything off. But then at the end of the 6 months, we were almost out of cash, and then a job came on, a job that we didn't expect to have, and we ended up being consultants for marketing for a marketing agency for 3 years, teaching 300 plus people around the world how to do branding for a business, social media. And we were at that point thinking, well, if it all fails, we'll go back and get a job. And we were thinking, but then we thought, no, we can't. And inside something said, you can't think that way, man. You've got to embrace this fear, because it was scary. And after a while, you kind of got accustomed to this, not knowing when the next paycheck was coming, but just following your gut and keep doing some kind of action. And then boom, something came up. It was crazy. And we've adapted that ever since that 6 months. We're like, we'll never give up. We think at first, okay, we can go back and get a job. But then we're like, no, we've got so much knowledge. There's no point. We're not employable anymore. We just can't be tamed in that way. So you're right. You're right. 100%.
See, you brought up something that I even like, kind of brings up my point earlier. You're asking about like when I was afraid of being successful. It was, remember that fear that you felt that was kind of your driver? I lost that for a moment. And it was like, because you lose that, well, this is working, like all of a sudden everything worked.
Yeah.
And it was like, no. And you have that moment like,
it's true. Oh my God. I remember it so freaking well. And in the last year, it was kind of weird because we adapted those things, but we fell into a depression too, because of just so many different things that came up. I think there was like a lot of inner demons coming back from, you're working on yourself. As you go through entrepreneurship, I find it's not just, I want a job and I want to do this great career like you have and what we've done. It's like, in order to become who you truly are, it feels to me like entrepreneurship is one of those things you have to do to get there. I'm not sure if everybody, and it's different for everyone because everyone's path's different, can truly become who they really are meant to be unless they go through some kind of discomfort and failure in order to become that person. If they stay comfortable, they will never do that. And I've felt that this entrepreneurship journey, and I always said it to Carmen, I said, this Superfly will be what saves us. And I highly believe that, not just in a financial sense eventually when we do make the money we want to, but in the sense of what it's making out of us. It freaking us, because we've met people like yourselves in the last 6 years where, yes, it's weird still living in our suitcase in a way and house to house and didn't know whether we're going to have a place while this COVID-19. But Jesus, the people we've met, the conversations, the inner work we've done in ourselves to look at ourselves in the dark places, like things that we didn't want to look at, things from childhood days that we thought, why is this still shit affecting me? And now I look at myself, God, the people we've become I'm so proud of how we have become as people, Colin and I, because through that, we're also affecting family people in a super positive way and showing them something they haven't seen. And people that we meet all the time, we're like, wow, not only is it about us, it hasn't become about us anymore, it's become about the collective. And that's why with Superfly, we're now trying to bring more people on board to do stuff with us, because it's like, yeah, it's our baby, but you guys are part of this community. You're a family. So what can we do to bring you guys to do more stuff? And yeah, we're having conversation like this today to make that happen. And it's still just two of us with, only the amount of time we have in the day to build it. And we're aspiring to do more, and we're still going to see it, and we will make it happen, just like you have your dreams. So it's powerful.
But it goes right back to that guy we were talking about, where you want to be that guy. And over those 6 years, that guy, you're slowly working your way to becoming that guy. And Absolutely. It's like this, it's so cool to be on. It's the journey is the funnest part. And a lot of people think it's the destination. And honestly, it's the journey getting there, the struggle, the fight. Because you're not going to remember, you'll remember those successful moments, but you'll remember the hard times it took to get there and who it made you become to get there.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love.
And it makes great stories. The greatest stories ever told in books and in movies, it's that whole hero scenario, the struggle of getting to the mountaintop, right, and becoming who you're meant to be. And I think we all strive for that. So if anyone's listening, obviously people listening to this, if there's something they can take away from that, is I think the last bit of this is like gold. Embrace the fear, embrace your dream. Doesn't matter where you are right now, what people say to you, how much money you got the internet, you got two hands, you got a brain in between that head, just fucking do it. Don't be afraid to go off and chase it, no matter how long it takes, because you'll be glad you did. You're glad, even though you've had the struggles like we've had, because we can then turn around and go, look, we've made something amazing, left a legacy, because that's what we want. We want to leave a legacy when we leave here in numerous ways. And there's always time to, rewrite your wrongs, if I put it correctly, because we all do things wrong, and I think we can flip the script on those and do better in life. So many great people have done things where I think, but I can't do that now because I was this. No, fuck that. That was the old you. Everyone has the chance to change and do better. And I think that's one of the things also that holds people back. Like, fuck that. If you can change and you can see something better and you always visualize, you'll always get the best stuff coming at you. And that's how we should do. So, man, it's been amazing. I think we could chat for another 4 hours. But
I always enjoy chatting with you. We kind of always ramble on forever and a day.
We do, but I think there's so much stuff here that we're definitely going to chop up in different pieces as well when we push this out. It's been an absolute pleasure to obviously, get to know you and meet you in person, have this conversation today. Look forward to when we can get out and visit you, obviously when this lockdown is over. But thank you for being here. And where can people find you? Because I know you're on Instagram, Facebook. Where can people find you for what you guys do?
Most of the time on the Son of a Fink page on Facebook. We've been posting on Instagram a lot more. We're kicking up the YouTube page starting on Monday.
Awesome.
So
Great.
we're getting a bunch of new stuff kind of put out, and
Awesome.
I still have the video I got to put together from when I was out there with you guys.
Oh, yeah. I look forward to seeing that. That's going to be cool. Well, look forward to seeing what you guys got coming up. Thank you again for joining me. And until next time, guys, this is how we roll.